Hello, everybody. As usual, my name is Emmanuel Tokumbodako, and today we have Erich Grant from Paxful, and we'll be discussing extensively about Paxful's wallet service in the blockchain space. Erich, over to you. Could you kindly give us a brief introduction of who you are, the role you play at Paxful?
Sure. I work in the business development team in Paxful. I'm based out of our New York City office. I've been at Paxful for almost a year now, and our focus here is on expanding Paxful's network, finding more market participants, and doing sort of bigger partnerships with exchanges and technology providers.
That's great. So basically, we would want you to, if you said you've been with Paxful for just a year.
Excuse me?
You've been with Paxful for just a year.
Yes, exactly. But in the crypto space, that's a very long time.
How long have you been in the crypto space?
Before this, I was working in the FX trading industry. I was selling technology and liquidity to FX brokers. So I had a lot of experience working in international markets, working with exchanges, working with traders. There's a lot of overlap between the FX space, foreign exchange trading, and the cryptocurrency space. A lot of people from the FX space came in as to help the cryptocurrency industry become more institutionalized and adopt some of the sort of best practices from that space. So it was a jump, but it wasn't that big of a jump.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I personally engaged in some personal FX trading back in 2012, 2015, but I lost money. I lost all my money in FX trading then because I practically didn't understand the whole thing. But I got back into the crypto space. I mean, I got into the crypto space in 2016, and basically I used the borrowed knowledge from FX trading because we use the same MetaTrader service anyway. So, and then I applied it in the crypto space. And I would like to know, I would like you to guide us through the vision of Paxful, what Paxful is all about, the journey so far, what year was Paxful established, what has been done thus far, and then the mission and vision behind the establishment of the company.
Sure. So Paxful was founded in 2015. The two co-founders met here in New York City. And the goal was to provide a easy way for people to buy or sell Bitcoin around the world, no matter where they are. And that's kind of the way we do it. But the mission is really to help bring financial services to the whole world. You know, a lot of people are unbanked. They don't have access to things that maybe you or I take for granted, like the ease of opening a checking account or just sending money here or there. So we really view Paxful as a universal translator for money. Someone who's in the United States can use Paxful to convert their US dollars to Mexican pesos, right, for like a remittance type payment, or people in Africa can use it to facilitate import-export type businesses, that type of thing. So we view it as a universal translator for money. Anything can go into Bitcoin. We view Bitcoin as kind of the base layer through which the transactions flow. And, you know, our broader mission is to use the power of peer-to-peer finance to help individuals around the world reach their full economic potential.
But you mentioned that Paxful, the aim of Paxful is basically to help people get Bitcoin anywhere in the world to probably convert the Bitcoin into their local currencies anywhere in the world. But from your website, I see there are about 5 select countries which you feature, which is the US, Nigeria, India, and about 2 other countries. How then is it that at the moment, those are the only 5 countries where Paxful is operational, or I could use Paxful anywhere in the world?
Anyone in the world can use Paxful. I mean, there are some countries that we can't accept for regulatory reasons, but by and large, anyone in the world can come, create an account. It's free to create an account. The account opening process is very simple. And then once the account's created, it's very straightforward to either buy or sell Bitcoin using the platform. And some people use Bitcoin as a way to transmit money. Other people use Bitcoin as bank account, right? In countries where there's capital controls or the banking system is underdeveloped, places where inflation is very high. So we see Bitcoin as it can be it's sort of a bank in your own wallet, in your cell phone, right? Your own personal bank, and you can use that to do a lot of the transactions that in the Western world people would just use a traditional bank to do.
Okay, but then why was there a need to particularly mention these 5 countries on your website if Paxful can be used anywhere in the world?
It might be because the website will pick up your IP address and give you the best countries based on where you are. But anyone in the world can use it. We've got right now, I'd say slightly south of 2.3 million users on the platform. That's spread all over the world. Our biggest market is the United States. Our second and third largest markets are China and Nigeria, and which one's second and which one's third sort of depends on the day-to-day trading. They're very close. And then we're seeing a lot of growth in the rest of Africa. We recently did a tour in South Africa and Kenya, meeting with university students to help educate them about peer-to-peer finance. And then we're also seeing a lot of growth in China, in Asia, ex-China. So Southeast Asia, India are also places where we're seeing a lot of new user signups.
So basically, I can be anywhere in the world and withdraw local currency from my Paxful wallet. For instance, I could be in Paris and withdraw euro.
Yeah, so the way it works is anybody can go on the site and create an offer to buy or sell Bitcoin, and they can do it for whatever currency or payment method they want. So if you're in, let's say you're in Paris and you have Bitcoin on your Paxful wallet, you can go look for offers you can sell your Bitcoin for euros, right? If that's what you want, and you'll go and you'll see all the people at the time you're on the website that are willing to sell, that are willing to give you euros for your Bitcoin. You click on the best offer. Our system connects you with the person that's selling. You arrange sort of they'll sell it at a markup or a markdown, whatever it is, and then transaction's completed, and you'll receive euros in whatever bank account you give them, and then you send the Bitcoin to them. So it acts as a fiat to crypto on-ramp. It's a peer-to-peer exchange. So in order for you to complete a transaction, there needs to be somebody on the other side of the trade who's willing to take the other side of it, right? So the bigger the market is for us, the more offers there are. That means there's more liquidity. That means you'll have more options for either buying or selling Bitcoin.
So basically, it's a form of local Bitcoin.
I think local Bitcoin is a form of us.
Well, you say so. You say so. So at the moment, is the crypto wallet service the only service you provide for users, or there are other avenues like a Paxful interchange or something else? Do you have a crypto exchange?
We don't have a crypto exchange, so it's all of our trades. One leg of the trade has to be in Bitcoin. So that could be Bitcoin for euros, that could be Bitcoin for dollars, that could be Bitcoin for Kenyan shillings or South African rand or renminbi, whatever it is. But one leg always is Bitcoin. And the reason for that is that in our trade system, we escrow the Bitcoin. So if you and I were trading, for example, and you wanted to sell me some Bitcoin and I was going to pay you in dollars, our escrow service would hold the Bitcoin while the two of us are completing the trade. And that would provide security for me because I would know that you're selling me Bitcoin and you actually have it, right? And it would provide security for you because you know that until you receive the payment, the Bitcoin's not released. So it provides security for both the buyer and the seller. And that's, a lot of people use our wallet. They just use it as a wallet, and that's perfectly fine. But the escrow service is the core of our marketplace and the core of our product offering right now.
So why Bitcoin alone at the moment? Do you have plans to expand to other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, XRP, or?
Because we view Bitcoin as the base layer, we really want to consolidate as much of the liquidity into one coin as possible. There's regulatory reasons why we don't want to touch a lot of the other coins as well. But really, Bitcoin is, if you look at coin market cap, I looked yesterday, Bitcoin's dominance was at 62%, 62%, something like that. It's very high. So,
as of yesterday, it was 61%. But
yeah, and as you go down the rest of the coins, the they get very small very fast in terms of how many people are actually using a lot of this stuff. So you could create an offer to sell Bitcoin for Ethereum on our site. That's something we do support because Ethereum is not considered a security. But most of the other cryptocurrencies we don't support, and we don't really have plans to support. And, even if there weren't regulatory concerns, it would be just a question of, is this really that useful? How many people are really trading with Dash day in and day out? They're pretty small communities.
So what are your fees like?
The base fee, we charge an escrow fee on every trade that goes through the escrow service. So once the trade is successfully completed, we take our fee off the top. So the seller is always the one that pays the fees because the seller of the Bitcoin is put into escrow. Once both the buyer and the seller have confirmed the transaction is good, the buyer receives the Bitcoin less our fee. So you can look on our website for a complete breakdown of the fees. It depends on the payment type. Our standard fee is 1%. That's been recently increased across several of the different gift cards, which are popular for trading on Paxful. Those are higher. We've recently reduced our fee on bank transfers from 1 to 0.1%, so that's lower. So
you reduce your bank transfers from 1% to 0.1%?
Yeah, from 1% to 0.1%.
That's very steep. What was the motivation for that?
We're hoping to drive more volume in our bank transfer markets, and like any market, if you make something more expensive, people do less of it, and if you make something less expensive, people do more of it.
And how does this impact your bottom line in terms of revenue generation and profitability?
Well, I don't really want to break down the revenue. You can go on CoinDance and break down our volumes. So, we do about $150 million, probably a little bit less than that. I think it was about 145 over the last 30 days. And you can see our volume based on geographic region. Like I said, the U.S. is our biggest market, and then China and Nigeria are closely tied for number 2 or 3. And then it, kind of it's a Pareto thing. But yeah, we've been growing steadily, even in 2018, which was a tough year for a lot of cryptocurrency companies, a lot of Bitcoin companies with the price collapse in the second half of the year. Our volumes have still been going up, and we've been adding members of our team, support people to help sort of moderate the network. That's been a big area of hiring for us, as well as hiring new developers as we continue to invest in the product.
That's great. And so far, we had to come across any news with regards to hacking of the Paxful wallet, unless it's something that I've glossed over, but I tried to search and I'm here to see it. So what exactly accounts for, that is, if there's been no hack of the Paxful wallet thus far, what exactly accounts for the security holding Paxful together? Is it that you guys are a bunch of crack developers whose codes cannot be breached, or is just sheer coincidence?
Well, I think the developers would like me to say that we're a bunch of crack developers and we just can't be breached. We've invested very heavily in hiring the best developers we can to build out the most robust system possible. We've never had a hack. And that's, if you think about what our function is in the Bitcoin ecosystem, or any exchange really, security is the most important thing. If there's a hack, if people feel that the site's insecure, for most businesses, that's kind of a death knell, right? You can't recover from something like that. Once you lose the trust in the marketplace is done. So that's just an area where we've invested very, very heavily. We've got a lot of developers focused on that, and safety is always our sort of paramount concern in terms of the sort of keeping the wallet secure and keeping the ecosystem safe.
Do you intend to provide a decentralized wallet service at any point in time? Because I want to believe that at the moment, Paxful is a centralized wallet service provider, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have, I wouldn't say we're a centralized wallet provider. I mean, we're a centralized exchange, and the wallet is the wallet is a piece of the peer-to-peer exchange. It's something that you need to transact in the network, but the wallet is a kind of a function of that. I wouldn't say we're an exchange first, and the wallet is a piece of that, but we're not a wallet provider first, if that makes sense. As far as plans for doing a decentralized wallet or a decentralized exchange, we have no plans to do that at the moment. Decentralization is obviously a very hot topic in the cryptocurrency space, in the Bitcoin space. There are a lot of advantages to decentralization. There's also disadvantages. And I think when people decide whether they want to go for a decentralized exchange or a decentralized any project, and then they compare it to its sort of centralized competitors, there's advantages and disadvantages to both. Doing something decentralized for us now would be a very big change in our business model.
All right. What are the plans for Paxful going forward, say in the next 5 years? What does the roadmap look like?
Yeah, our roadmap is we're focused on expanding our network, like I said. So that means bringing more people onto the platform, expanding the variety of payment methods on the site so we can service more traders. Obviously, improving the product is always the number one priority for the company. So building out the platform, making it more user-friendly, adding more user protections, that's an important piece. And then expanding our liquidity in local markets, especially in the developing world, to make it easier for everyday people to use Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, as a store of value, as a place to keep their funds safe. We did a tour in Africa in May, in South Africa and Kenya, like I said earlier, and we've got another tour planned for Nigeria, I believe in the third quarter of this year, but in third, fourth quarter, somewhere around there. So we want to expand, get more people and get as much feedback on the product as possible and continually iterate and improve the Paxful experience.
Okay. One way for every tech company to expand usually includes the fundraising period, especially with regards to, you mentioned an improvement of the liquidity. So basically, is Paxful looking at raising funds anytime soon?
I wouldn't be the best person to comment on something like that. Those discussions happen far above me on the chain.
It's not within your pay grade.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So I'm not familiar one way or another with anything like that. I know that our plans for improving the platform are sort of that piece of it. Whatever happens over there, it's not going to impact what we have planned over the next couple of years.
All right, thanks a lot, Eric. We are finally at the end of the interview. It was nice having you on the ride, and I hope to talk soon and see how far Paxful goes from here.
Thanks for having me. It was a real pleasure.
All right, enjoy your day.